universities, which is 10 universities, the countries. There are Egypt, Pakistan, India, Malaysia,
semua perjalanan agar selalu ada dekatmu, hingga ku rasakan lembutnya kasihmu.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The Honorable Dr. Dia Setiawati Dewanti as the coordinator of ITILS 2021. The Honorable Dr. Imamuddin Yuliadi, MSI, as the head of study program Academic and Science, University of Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta. The Honorable Professor Dr. Rizal Yaya as the Dean Faculty of Academic and Business. The Honorable Professor Dr. Sukamta as the Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, University of Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta. And also, all of the management and participant of ITILS 2021 that I love and I'm proud of. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin syayidina wa habibina wa syafi'ina wa maulana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Gratitude to Allah. Alhamdulillah, rest always present the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because the grace of His Hidayah and His Inayah, we can participate and attend on the event of ITILS 2021. In this morning, with a great hope and amazing spirit. Don't forget the prayers and greetings hopefully will always be poured out to our Lord Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whom we are waiting for the intersection at Yaumul Qiyamah. Amin, amin ya rabbal alamin. Before the opening of this event, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Adinda Salsabila as a Master of Ceremony of ITILS 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, let me read our agenda for this morning. First, opening. Second, singing Indonesian Raya, Mars Muhammadiyah, and Mars UMY. Opening remarks. Main event. Announcement course leaders of best participant. Testimony, and the last is closing. Entering the first event is the opening. Let's open the ITILS 2021 this morning with enthusiasm and joy. And let's open by reading Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's go to the second event, which is singing the national anthem of Indonesia Raya, Mars Muhammadiyah, and Mars UMY. The participant and the audience were asked to stand for a moment. Okay, thank you for your availability. The next event is the opening remarks from Dr. Dia Setiawati Dewanti as the coordinator of ITILS 2021. To Dr. Dia Setiawati Dewanti, the time is yours.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Ms. Dinda. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the beneficent, the merciful, praise is done to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has been giving us blessing so that we can attend today's closing ceremony without any troubles. May salawat and salam be with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has guided us from the darkness and lightness in the world as well as in the next world. Thank you for the MC, Ms. Adinda, has already given me the opportunity to deliver the closing speech. Welcoming remarks, yeah, but it is a closing speech for today's ITILS and share the information about our event. In this year, Alhamdulillah, we already carried out 4 subjects in the ITILS, in the National Training for Young Islamic Economic Leaders, which consists of natural resources and environmental economics, theory and applications. The second is bank and non-bank financial institutions, Islamic and conventional perspectives. The third one, labor economics, theory and public policy. And the last one, the fourth subject, we had research methodology, quantitative and qualitative approach. This event supported fully from Department of Economics, Faculty Economics and Business, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. We already have 127 participants for 4 subjects from 7 different countries. They are Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Gambia, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Bahrain, with 23 different universities that I could not mention this morning, but we have 23 different universities who sent the participant in the 4th ITILS. I would like to send my warmly gratitude to the Rector and Vice Rector of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, the Dean of Faculty Economics and Business, Professor Rizal Yahya, Head of Department of Economics, Dr. Imamuddin Yuliadi, and most of my thanks to all of the course leaders and trainers, Dr. Dimas Bagus Wiranata Kusuma, Dr. Agus Pribadi, Bakti Hartato, jadi Dr. Diah Titis Kusuma Wardani, Mr. Kalifani Asidiki, and Mr. Susilo Nur Aji Cokrodarsono, who already prepare all the courses very well and success delivering the material to the participants. Thank you so much. Also, I would like to share to Mr. Firman, the most patiently staff already manage our ITILS event today. And most of my acknowledgement is shared to all of my lovely participants in here. All of you are great and active participants in the video trainers in the ITILS. And we are
Hello, Miss Dia. Okay, I think she has a problem with the connections, yeah. Okay, thank you, Miss Dia, for the very nice speakers. Okay, let's jump to the others opening remarks from Professor Dr. Rizal Yahya as the Dean of Faculty Academic and Business. To Professor Dr. Rizal Yahya, the time is yours.
Adinda, can you hear my voice?
Sure.
Okay. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillah, rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'du. Alhamdulillah. Syukurillah, this morning we can have our closing ceremony for the 4th IT Yields Tas Muhammadiyah Jakarta, organized by Department of Economics, Faculty of Economics and Business, UMY. Alhamdulillah, today is very nice morning in Yogyakarta, and I hope you also have good weather, good time, and happy in your place for everybody. And where today we're going to have our closing ceremony. Honorable Vice Rector, Bapak Professor Sukamta, who will close this event, this summer school, and honorable lecturers of the IT Yields, that will head Department of Economics, and respected speakers that has already contributed to the 4th IT Yields, and my beloved students, especially those who are the participants of the 4th IT Yields. As already mentioned, reported by Dr. Dia Dewanti in her speech, that this event has 4 courses, and with the participants from 23 universities and a number of countries: Malaysia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Gambia, Indonesia, of course. I'm very happy and very pleased with this event, where Department of Economics can be consistent in organizing this event. IT Yields, international training, young leaders, economics, where this is a very strategic and important event, where we want to have this generation to prepare them to become a strong leader in the future. In this case, it is our discipline in terms of economics, and Department of Economics has taken their role to prepare for the young generation, not only for the UMY student, not only for the Department of Economics UMY student that they would like to prepare, but for the young generation, for the students from other university in Indonesia and also other university overseas. This is a great effort. This is a great idea, the great vision that we have. We have 127 participants here, which in the future, they will take the role. They will take in the important position, inshallah. Then they will make decision in terms of economics. And we want them to take good decision, sustainable decision, where it is the theme of this summer school. In 4 courses that you have, there's methodology, there's bank and non-banks, there's environment, and these are very important issues that you need to understand, you need to master. I really thank to the lecturers, to those who has already prepared for teaching materials, who already taught in the class, although this is done by online. I really appreciate what you have done, what you have contributed, and pray to Allah that Allah will pay your contribution, your good deeds. Inshallah, that will be as the ilman nafi'an. The good deeds where the reward will be continuous, although we have already not in this world anymore. Inshallah. I really thank you for your contribution and your participation. And I really thank for the collaboration that we have. I been noticed that this event has been supported by a number of organizations, Indonesia and also overseas, our partners. And we really thank for the good relationship that we have. It is what we expect from our collaboration. And hopefully also next time we can also do the same, contribute to your institution when you have the same program or other program. To the participants, I thank you for your trust to join this program, as this is the 4th program, and maybe some of you may not know this program yet, and you've taken your time to have this. I hope this will benefit you, and I hope you have gained a lot of experience and also network, and I hope you can keep the network with your friends in your class, your classmate, your online class. Who knows, hopefully next time you can meet each other offline, and I hope you can continue in terms of communication each other, and maybe you can have some events among the students. And I do hope in the future you can get success, you can be leader. This is your great, you sacrifice your time now to gain knowledge. Inshallah, there's benefits, it has advantage for you. That give you a more wider knowledge, and also deeper knowledge in the area that you learn. I really thank to the committee that has already prepared this program, and with the hard work, and I hope Allah will, I pray to Allah to give you reward to all of you. Lastly, I would like to congratulate for the organizing this event successfully. Alhamdulillah, although some of the participants cannot continue until finish, I hope they can gain in other places, and I hope they can have the bigger commitment in the future. But it is, we already predicted, it is not easy to come to the final of this. It needs commitments, it needs hard work, it needs sacrificing your leisure. But that's what the leader is for. Leader used to have pain, but they will contribute a lot to the society. And you have already done one step as a leader, future leader. And I do hope in the future you really becomes the leader in your place, in your country, inshallah, in collaboration with the many people, many parties. And I hope in the future when we become leader, please don't forget Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta, where we always welcome you. We always welcome to collaborate with you and with your organization in the future. Lastly, thank you for everybody. And then I really appreciate about this program. And I hope next year this program can be done again and with more participants, and who knows, hopefully we can have also with offline if the pandemic is over. But although we have this with the online, but I can see that the quality is also as good as we have offline. And I can see that you can have more participants when we have it online. Thank you so much. And then all the best for your future and all the best. And I do hope for the faculty, for the Department of Economics, and with you all contribution that become the leading Department of Economics in Indonesia and also in the world internationally. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Dr. Rizal Yahya, for a very great speech. Okay, the next speech and closing ceremony will be led from Professor Dr. Sukamta as the Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, University of Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. To Professor Dr. Sukamta, you are pleased to close the program. The time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. The Honorable the Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business, Professor Rizal Yahya, Head of Department, Dr. Imamuddin Yuliadi, IT Yields Coordinator and Course Leaders, Dr. Dimas Bagus and Dr. Tia Diwanti, and all participants of the 4th International Training for Young Islamic Economic Leaders 2021. Thank to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for all of His gift, especially the gift of health and opportunity. Greeting and salawat for our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for his guidance and example. We can live well and right. May our life be safe from the world to the hereafter. The university leadership appreciated these activities of the 4th International Training for Young Islamic Economic Leaders 2021. As we know, IT Yields has been organized 4 times since 2015. And this year, the topic is about promoting the green economy and financial system stability in the midst of pandemic. The 4th IT Yields complies for course environmental economic, bank and non-bank financial institutions, labor economics, and research methodology. In this event, as we know, IT Yields successfully managed 127 participants from 5 countries, Indonesia, Libya, Gambia, Pakistan, and Bahrain, originated from 23 universities. With this event, you can discuss and share ideas and build networking related to the green economy and financial system stability issues. Green economy is a development model to prevent rising greenhouse gas emission and address climate change. The green economy model plays a role in replacing the black economy model that weighs on the consumption of fossil fuels, coals, and natural gas. The green economy is built on the importance of ecosystems, balancing human activity as economic actors with limited availability of natural resources. This is the essence of the green economic, revitalizing the dependence between the human economy and the natural ecosystem, ultimately reduce the effect of climate change. The green economy has a driving engine in the field based on the green energy, namely renewable energy. And this is related to the stability of the financial system, which is a condition where the economic mechanism of price formation, allocation of fund, and risk management is doing well in support of economic growth. So for that, I thank to all of speakers, Dr. Indah Sabtudiningsih, Dr. Dimas Bagus, Dr. Tia Diwanti, Dr. Romi Bakti Hartarto, and moderator Dr. Diah Titis Kusumawardani, and also all parties involved to make this event successful. And by saying Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, the 4th International Training for Young Islamic Economic Leaders 2021 officially I declare closed. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillah, thank you so much, Professor Dr. Sukamta. So the next agenda is the photo session. To all the audience, please turn on your camera. Okay, I will lead by say 1, 2, 3 ya. Okay. Okay, is the operator ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, once again ya. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much everyone.
Thank you, Mas Dimas, Pak Rizal,
Terima kasih, Prof.
Dinda.
Thank you, Prof. Sukamta.
Thank you, Prof. Kamta.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes.
Thank you, Bu Didi.
Terima kasih, Pak Dekan.
Well done. Good job.
Matur nuwun, Pak
Good practice.
Dekan.
Masih Pak
Thank
Dekan,
you.
Prof. Yaya, alhamdulillah.
Pak Imam, thanks a lot. Well done, Pak. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Dr. Kamta. The next event is the presentation section, who will be delivered by 4 great speakers and will be guided by the moderator from Lecture on International Program for Islamic Economic and Finance, Department of Economy, University of Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. But before that, let me read the curriculum vitae of Dr. Diah Titis Kusumawardeni. Year of graduation 2005. Education level and title is bachelor degree on study program Department of Economics on Universitas Gadjah Mada 2011. Educational level and title is master degree on Department of Economics on Australian National University. To Dr. Diah Titis Kusumawardeni, you are allowed to start the main event. I'm sorry, miss. We cannot hear your voice. Okay, please wait ya. Okay, for everyone, please wait a second because Miss Dia have a problem with the connections.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Miss.
Yes. What about my voice now?
Yes, your voice is audible.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greetings. First and foremost, I would like to welcome the Honorable Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, Professor Sukamta, the Honorable Dean of Faculty of Economics and Business, Rizal Yaya, the course coordinator, Dr. Diah Setiawati Dewanti, the program coordinator, Dr. Dimas Suma, and all course leaders as outstanding presenter today, and sister. Welcome to the 4th IT Yields International Training for Young Islamic Economics Leaders 2021. This session is intellectual discourse and research dissemination of lecturers at Economics Department, Faculty of Economics and International Program for Islamic Economic and Finance, IPF, Universitas Okay, I will share screen. Okay, this is our presenters for today. The fourth ITILs. For the environment economics, Dr. Endah Saputiningsih, SAMSI. Her educational background is Bachelor of Economics, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Master of Science and Economics, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Doctoral Degree in Economics, Universitas Gadjah Mada. Her research interest is environmental economics, health economics, and green tourism. Her research dissemination title is Does Social Capital Matter in Climate Change Adaptation? Case Studies on Agriculture and Fisheries. Her previous research entitled Does Social Capital Matter in Climate Change Adaptation? A lesson from agricultural sector in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, has been published in Land Use Policy, Elsevier Science Direct Scopus Q1. And the second presenter, Dr. Dimas Bagus Wiranata Kusuma, SEMEC. He is a speaker of banking and finance. His educational background is Bachelor of Economics, Universitas Airlangga. His master degree is Master of Economics, International Islamic University, Malaysia. PhD in Economic, International Islamic University, Malaysia. His research interests in banking and finance, Islamic banking, Islamic finance, and central bank issues. His research dissemination title is The Analysis of the Resilience of Islamic Banking in Indonesia. His previous research, Constructing Islamic Banking Resilience Index in Indonesia, has been published in Journal of Islamic Monetary Economics and Finance. Research methodology. Presenter Dr. Diah Setiawati Dewanti, SEMSC. Her educational background is Bachelor of Economics, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Master of Science and Economics, Universitas Gadjah Mada, PhD in Development Science Program, Khon Kaen University, Thailand. Her research interests, economic tourism, environment economics, disaster management, tobacco control, environmental valuation and innovation to address human rights to health. Dr. Diah Dewanti will deliver how to apply mixed methodology. Applying mixed method, Dr. Diah will present her research entitled Development Household Disaster Management Guideline on the Disaster Prone 2. His previous research entitled Household Disaster Management Capacity in Disaster Prone 2 of Mount Slamet has been published in Jamba Journal of Disaster Risk Scopus Q2. Labor Economics, Dr. Romi Bhakti Hartarto, SEMSC. Educational background, Bachelor of Economics, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Master of Economics, Macquarie University, PhD in Economics, Heriot-Watt University. Research interests, public economics, economic analysis and policy, and economic of education. Research dissemination title, Does Conditional Cash Transfer Change Educational Aspiration? Evidence from Indonesia. His previous research entitled A Quality Study of Conditional Cash Transfer and Educational Aspirations, Evidence from Yogyakarta, has been published at Journal of Social Service Research, Routledge, Taylor and Francis Group, Scopus Q2. Okay. presenter, you will have 15 minutes for each presenter. And then after all presenter have finished their presentation, there will be 30 minutes for participants to raise the questions, comment, and express their ideas. Okay, for the first presenter for today, Dr. Endah Sabtutiningsih, please welcome. The time is yours. Dr. Endah Sabtutiningsih.
Masih mute, still mute. Endah, still mute.
She has a problem with the microphone, Ibu. It is probably we could arrange Dr. Dimas first, probably.
Maybe next presenter. Okay, yes. Yes, yeah, Mr. Dimas.
The time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful, respected Dr. Imamuddin Lidiadi, Dr. Endah, Dr. Titis, Dr. Romi, and all participants, let me to just share with you my humble thoughts and research in the area of banking and finance, particularly looking at the resilience of Islamic banking in Indonesia. So allow me to share my humble thought in maximum 10 minutes since now. And here I'm trying to discuss and give some overview on the concept of resilience in the context of Islamic banking in Indonesia. Let me start by this outline presentations. So we have introductions, and I will show you the current Islamic banking industry development and review literatures on resilience and testing for resilient Islamic banking, and constructing early warning models, and developing the framework for resilience and conclusion and policy implications. Basically, this research has been published in Journal of Islamic Monetary Economics and Finance, Central Bank of Indonesia 2 years ago. So hopefully it's still relevant in the current context. And I started with the financial crisis that affected Indonesian economy in 1997 and 2008, whereby the banking sectors is the dominant intermediary institution in that case. And the banking sectors, if you look at in details, brothers and sisters, build up excessive balance sheet leverage, which is linked to the financial cycles. And boom-bust nature of financial cycles are stemmed from exogenous adverse shocks, resulting on triggering vulnerability in the Islamic banks. So on this regards, the exogenous and vulnerability are part and parcel in influencing the excessive balance sheet leverage in the banking system. So the analysis of the shocks and vulnerability are the main motivation of these presentations, particularly looking at the what the factors that affect the resilience of banking in Indonesia. So the resilience basically covers the ability of Islamic banking to withstand shocks and continue to provide economic function in order to avoid systemic risk. So resilience in this regard basically tries to adopt and adapt the concept of sustainability. Therefore, the significance of the study is to reduce the severity of systemic event in case of the banking crisis and prevent the likelihood of occurring systemic events. So we have two significance. The first is reduce and prevents. Therefore, the resilience of Islamic banking requires an examinations that involve discovering the tolerable limit of shocks and the optimal level of resilience arising from macroeconomic imbalances and Islamic banking vulnerability. And here is the research question. So here I'm trying to build up the index that called Islamic Banking Resilience Index, or IBRI. And second one is the Macroeconomics Vulnerability Index. And the third one is developing a framework that integrating between the Macro Vulnerability Index and Banking Resilience Index. So therefore, the study resilience in Islam banking will address the three important points: the level of resilience, leading indicators, and the tolerable limit of shocks. So we allow the shock, but with limited numbers, limited values, as well as the resilience level. And here is the banking development industry in Indonesia. Right now, State Bank of Indonesia and all parties are focusing on the issue on microprudential and macroprudential policies. And these two prudential policy basically covers the soundness of individual institutions and mitigating systemic risk. So they look at the macroeconomics environment as well as the internal environments, macro and micro prudentials. And the third one, literature's review on the resilience. You see that having gone through numbers of literatures, we found that the assessing of the banking resilience looking at the backward-looking variables. So they look at the variables that has been conducted before, and this one is used to surveillance tools. And the second one is the business cycle fluctuations. So on this regard, we have to realize that the current banking sectors that up and down are so influenced by business cycles. And the last one is how the linkage then between the existing banking fluctuations and also the business cycles. And the gap literatures that I found here, there is a lack of studies on the early warning system using the signals extraction approach. So we use non-parametric approach here. And the second one is the study of resilience is lacking compared to study of stability. So if you gone through the Googles, there are very many study on stability, but very few focus on the resilience. And third one, no specific macroeconomic indicators addresses the resilience as leading indicators, and lack of technical steps to facilitate the Islamic banking monitoring task. And the last one, no framework describe the link between macroeconomic indicators and the resilience of Islamic banking. So these are the gaps that we want to fill up during this on this study. And these are the finding here. First is testing the resilience of banking, Islamic banking. On this regard, we are using three separated dimensions in order to develop the aggregate index. The first is asset price inflations. Yeah. Second one is wholesale funding and degree of competitions. So these three items basically represent the left-hand side of the banking sectors, right-hand side of the banking system, and then the combination between the right and left-hand side. And the step here, we develop 7 steps: background, data selection, normalizations, weighting and aggregations, uncertainty and sensitivity, back to the data, and visualization of the results. So we try to develop the index that credible and relevant to be used as the surveillance tools. Of course, the details quite much, so just give you the overview. And here is the hierarchy of the index that we develop. First, we develop the individual index, individual variables that are transformed then into individual index. And once they have already developed, so we compose into dimension. So this is the dimensions. So one dimension has been settled. So we compose into single composite index. And this composite index is used in order to measure the level of resilience. The next one, here is the graphs, simple graphs. You see, dear participants, this just the descriptions and overview how we measure the level of resilience by finding the optimal level here. So if you see just a little bit here, it looks like the cyclus actually. So this is the leveraging process, this is the deleveraging process. So Islamic banking, basically, if they want to be resilient, they must be in this space. They don't too excessive, they don't too stagnant. Because in the context of Islamic banking, if the Islamic banking is too prudent, they will be stagnant, will be here, the positions. But in the way around, if the banking sector is too excessive, so it will be here, but very dangerous somehow. So therefore, we suggested how if the position of the banking sectors is the optimal level in here. So by calculating some step, we found that the index is between, if here, is between 0.2 until 1.2. So if the banking system in terms of the composite index within this one, so the operational aspect of Islamic banking will be at the optimal and the resilient will take place. And the way around, if the index is beyond, in this case is here, so it means that Islamic banking is too excessive, yeah, and less diversified and very vulnerable to the crisis. And here is too stagnant. And the next one, we focus also not only in the banking sector, but also the macroeconomic environment, because we believe that Islamic banking live within complex environment or macroeconomic environments. So here is the macro variables. So we have two variables, inflations and exchange rates. Yeah. So again, here we also propose the position of these two variables are within these optimal positions. So not too devaluated, but or not too appreciated, or the inflation is not too high or it's not too low, but they are in the optimal positions. And this is the integration, the framework. So having we had the macro index, having we had the Islamic banking index, so we integrate these two one, yeah, and we have two conditions within optimal level of threshold. It is resilience, but if not within the optimal level, so it means that the banking sectors face the systemic problems. So if the resilience here, so it means that Islamic banking within the adaptive vulnerability, they remain vulnerable, but under control. Yeah, under control. So the next one, the last one, sisters and brothers, this is the measurement. So that I mentioned before that we have so many variables. So here the IBRI, the single index that I mentioned before, and this IBRI are composed by several dimensions. We have pressure dimension here and here, and also we have separated variables within the dimensions. And from this one, you can see, for example, in the case of NPF, non-performing loans or financing. So as long as the NPF here within 2.86% until 3.94%, so the Islamic bank remains resilient. And other variables, also you can see here the ROA, CAR, and others. So all in all, this information can guide the policymakers in order to, when they have to intervene into the banking, and also when the macroeconomic environment must be intervened as well. In this case, for example, in the case of exchange rate, for example, so here the exchange rate is expected within this interval, and also the inflation within 3.5% until 6.39%. And this is the accuracy that we have. We have the measurement to ensure the accuracy of these values. So here is the integrated framework. So if we have found this optimal level here in terms of banking, and we have found here the optimal level in terms of macroeconomics. So if we combine both these two into one, so we will find the resilience of Islamic banking. So the last one, I go to the conclusions, is the Islamic banking resilience basically is the combination between the optimal level of resilience of internal banking sectors and also the optimal shocks coming from macroeconomic indicators. So if we can integrate two these items into single index, of course, we will find the optimal level of resilience, whereby when the policymaker should intervene and should go into the policy response, because we have already had the numerical measurements. Yeah, and these measurements are indicated through the threshold. That's all my humble research and thoughts regarding with the resilient Islamic banking. Hopefully, I can get some suggestion and feedback from you and also from the participants. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is my voice is clear, Dr. Dimas?
Yes, very clear.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Dr. Dimas, for your presentations. And before we go to the next presenter, yeah, so we will have Dr. Diah Setiawati Dewanti, yeah, to be as the second presenter for today. Okay, without any further delay, Dr. Diah Setiawati Dewanti, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Titis. Today I would like to share concerning the research methodology. Several of our participants also joining the research methodology, qualitative and quantitative, but today I would like to deliver some of the experiences from my previous research, how to apply the mixed methodology. So, and what are the advantages actually for the mixed methodology? So you can see that the definition of mixed methodology in this mixing between the quantitative and qualitative here. So it's not only mixing between the method, but also the methodology, and also the paradigm and the design of collecting the data. So what is the reason actually? What is the reason you use the mixed methodology? Now on, we already recognize that the problem have a lot of perspective to do the to support the arguments. So using the mixed methodology, the main reason is because the insufficiency of argument and also the multiple angles of arguments. One problem with multiple of the angles. That is why we would recognize of the multidisciplinary or transdisciplinary knowledge. Yeah. The more evidence, the better arguments. And then the community of practice the arguments. This is the what is the basic reason for the reason of the mixed methodology. And I would like to share one of the design of mixed methodology that I used for my previous research, exploratory sequential method. What is the exploratory sequential method? We use the qualitative and quantitative mix, but since we use the sequential, so we finish the qualitative first, and then through the qualitative result, we do for the quantitative result. Okay, let's start with our with my research. I do my research concerning the development of household disaster management guideline on the disaster prone to of mountain selamat. Probably some of you from Indonesia recognize what is mountain selamat, right? But hopefully from Malaysia, you can search after this why I choose the mountain selamat, because it is located in very density high populations in central Java. And there is no history of explosion or eruption for whole several centuries. So it is dangerous for the volcanoes who is not having any histories for explosion or eruption. It means that it will be explored with the high level. So this one is why that is why I choose Mountain Selamat. Why it's not Mountain Merapi? Merapi explosion every year. It is safe for us because they reducing the volume of the magma inside of the volcano. So the research objective in here to examine the practical disaster management level, to describe the level of disaster management, describe the influence of household disaster management, and develop the specific guideline. Why I make this one? The circle one is using the qualitative. You can see the differences between the research objective between the qualitative and quantitative. In qualitative, we're trying to examine and also to develop some of the findings, okay? In quantitative, we try to describe focusingly, just like what variable dependent, what is the variable independent, something like that. Okay, in here we can see that the first phase is using qualitative, the second and third research objective using quantitative, the fourth using the qualitative, and I'm using the sequential, exploratory sequential mixed methodology. This is the conceptual framework that they make. The first one, the qualitative, I'm trying to find the context of household. By using the qualitative in here, finding the qualitative, the context of household, how is the volcanic disaster management practices, what is the meaning of disaster management in their head, it can be making the indicator for the quantitative. That is the advantage. When we are trying to do the quantitative, starting with qualitative, we can understand what is the exact components of the questionnaires, and it is exact for those cases, and it will be a benefit to develop a lot of things. Okay, this is the conceptual framework. So this is the study area. This is the Mountain Selamat, and this is the Kuching Sawangan, which is the nearest one. And I choose the quantitative for the 5 of the village, Kuching, Sawangan, Dukuh Tengah, Ketengar, and Gunung Sari, 5 of them. The first phase I would like to share about qualitative. So I'm using the content analysis, and I'm doing the interview to the leader of the village and household of the groups. I'm using the triangulations to multi-checking. So in there, I'm doing back and forth to do the triangulation methods and using in-depth interview with non-participatory observation methods. So what is the result? We can see in here the type of the household in Sawangan. I choose one, probably because the limitation of the time, I'm only use Sawangan in here. Sawangan, the type, mostly they are living with one or more individual who has relation in birth. So one house consists of 2 households and usually led by the male, father and husband. There is no migration. They are only married with the neighbors. So only like isolated area, yeah. And then no newcomers staying in Sawangan since it's very high in the mountain, in the hill. And they are mostly working as a farmer or labor for farming. They are married in a young ages. After 12 years, after finish their primary school, they marriage. So this is what they are, the data that we can see, that we have, why I do the result from this, okay? The context of living, since they are married in the 12 years old, they have the low educations, and their average income only $267 for 3 months because they're harvesting after 3 months. And there is a high inequality. If they are rich, they have a high, very good housing, but if they are poor enough, they get a terrible house. So, and then throughout season, they stop planting because the most difficulties that they have is water, a lack of the water. This is the context of area. So this is the qualitative result. From the Google, I'm starting to do the walking around the Sawangan and make the result like this one. The red one, it's still stone road, but the blue one is already asphalt. And they are really lack of the limit of the health. They're limited for the health and education and also road infrastructures. As you know, Sawangan is the nearest one to Mountain Slamet. If the road infrastructure is really bad, it's really worse, then we can see they cannot do any evacuations immediately if they get the eruptions. But since they are living harmony with the same religion, they have religious event, Jamiahan, as their meeting, right, for the coordinations and then preparing for the disaster management. The context of the area, the pine forest, all of the pine forest is belong to the government. It's not belong to them. And their housing, their village is surrounded by the agriculture. They're cutting the pine forest and then planting the potato. Okay, they're trying to expand their agriculture's field to receive more income. But however, the pine forest, if you still remember, pine forest is belong to the government, so they are like stealing the area from the government. Okay, the structure and the quality of soil is really good in there. So if you want to plant anything there, it's quite easy to plant. And mostly they have a kinship leadership system. So through all of the qualitative already published in one of the Scopas, is Q4, the livelihood of Sawangan village. So this is the first phase, already produced one paper. And then the quantitative, and then after the qualitative already processed, already analyzed, and then we do the indicator. When we have the indicator, we develop the questionnaire. The questionnaire is totally exact indicator for their living, their cases. So it is we can find the exact and concise of the indicator that we can analyze for the quantitative. Based on this one, we have the first one is mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. Based on our quantitative result, we found that the response is the strongest, but the recovery is the weakest one. Why the response is strongest? Because when it's eruption, every like a lot of community coming to help them, like security, national security coming to help them. But for the recovery, after the eruption already finished, already done, carried out, everything, they have to go back to the village and then feel that, oh, my village is distracted by the mountain eruption. And then they're just feeling, okay, I cannot do anything because they do not have a lot of enough money to do the recovery. So this is why the weakest. And this is the level. We can see that the lowest one in recovery, 81%, is the highest. And in response, 52% and 47% in the fair level, they have emergency communication and alert system. So this one, it's becoming good for them for the response. When it's already erupted, they can understand when they have to run and to evacuate. But for the warning system and disaster management involvement, now the public in Sawangan, they already feel that they are in insecure places. So they are trying to do the warning system. They built the warning system. And preparedness, we found that it's fair. And what is the mitigations constructed? It's based from the qualitative. So it's not, so in here, the quantitative is already merged into the qualitative result. How is the mitigation on structural they can implement it? The first one, they found that they are refused to move, even though Sawangan is only like 6 kilometers, 5 kilometers from the top of the mountain, but they are refused to move. So this is what one of the things that the weakest as them, because they refuse to move, they do not want to do the evacuation for the long permanent. But they are recognized the disaster map. So they already socialized the disaster map, and they already know, okay, so where do I have to run the evacuations path or evacuation route? And they already recognize warning system. When they found Celeng is the a pig, okay, what is that, the forest pig and some of the forest wild animal, boar or something, they already jump into or going to their house. It means that, or they going running like nowhere running, and they have a lot of monkeys in their house. It means that it's already the warning system. And the mitigations, they have the involvement that they already have is the participation of meeting. They have the Jamiahan, since they have same religions, Islam, so they do the participate all the meetings, okay, and have collaborations to all of the institutions to support their disaster management. They really work together with SAR and also PPPD, the National Disaster Management Agency in Indonesia. They work together with them. They work closely with them and experience to be volunteers. Several of the citizens, they are working as volunteers in SAR, yeah, in rescue, and also in PPPD. The second phase is preparedness. They do the experience to have the evacuation training, how to evacuate the vulnerable people, the vulnerable groups, and etc. And Sawangan also have the, they already prepared the important letters and also certificate near to their door. So when the eruption coming, and then they already hear the warning alarm, they directly took those back and move. I think I learned from that. Now I try to prepare all my certificate, all my important letter into one bag. So when we have the eruption or we have the earthquake, I can do grabbing the important letters with me. The third one, the response, the highest one. They have the emergency communication system. They have the radio all the time. So this is why they are really prepared with the emergency communications and response to alert status. They already know when some of the ringing alarm coming, they know that it is the warning evacuations. And the recovery, they have a less awareness because they said that if it is already eruption, then it's done. So it is quite challenging for them, and they do not have any financial investment plan to prepare for the next eruption. So this is that need to be developed, because in Mountain Merapi, some of the citizens, the head of the leaders the leaders already prepared the investment plan if the eruption of Merapi is coming. So when they already going back again after the response, they're going back to their house, they clean the house, and they have their own saving as like takaful, something like that, the insurance money made by themselves. So all of them already recovered in one publication, Volcanic Disaster Management Practices. So this is the second one. Second of the publication is COPAS, okay? And then we do the quantitative again, but now we are trying to find the influence factors for the disaster management. Since I'm using the structural equation model, what is the factors influence to disaster management? The first one is the household characteristic, all the capitals, and transformation on process and structures. In here, we are trying to do the path analysis, and we found that there is 3 of the variables: labor force, household networking, and chemical fertilizers for the natural resources, because less of them, most of them using the chemical fertilizer for their agriculture, are having direct and indirect effect to the disaster management. And those are becoming a big question mark. Why the chemical is having direct and indirect effect to the disaster management? And this question mark can be answered in the third phase, in qualitative in FGD after this. Okay, the labor force in here and household network and chemical, and the other have the direct and or indirect effect to disaster management. And all of this can be produced in one scope as again in JAMBA, household disaster management capacities in disaster-prone to area of Mountain Slamet. So you can see what is the advantage or the benefit of the mixed methodology. One research can be produced 3 scopas. This is the benefit that if you are a researcher and you want to chasing after for the publications, it can be produced a lot of publication. And then after the quantitative, we already know the context of the living, context of the area. You can understand the influence factors. Now we do the qualitative, the last qualitative, using the focus group discussion in here, based on the result on the qualitative context of living, context of area. And the second, we can have the, what is the factors influence. We already have some of the painting in here in our mind that what is the guideline need to be developed for them. So this is the process. After that, we need to adjust the group discussion. And then after that, sending invitation to them. And we can do the process of data collections. From those, we can find during the focus group discussion, we can find that what is the mitigation, what is the preparedness, what is the response, what is the recovery. In here, if you still remember, why the chemical fertilizer is supporting the disaster management, set the planning land use utilizations. If we use the fertilizer, quite a lot, it means that sorry, I'm running out of the battery. Okay, if we use the chemical a lot as the fertilizer, it means that the land use utilization will be less. So the recovery will be decreased. So that is why when it is becoming direct and indirect, it means that they have to decrease the using or the utilization of chemical, because the land use, because the utilizations have to be a very long term. So in the recovery can be planned like this one. This disaster management guideline came from the qualitative and quantitative, and also the focus group discussion, the last one. So that is why we can share the qualitative. I'm having this using the Atlas TI, probably from research methodology approach, subject. I'm using the qualitative. This one, we can see that each of them can be supported and can be managed, the guideline of the disaster management. And actually, this is the last project for me for having the mixed methodology of publication. So hopefully I can have the 4th publication after this, having this development of the guideline. Okay, this is the last of my presentations. So why is mixed methodology is very important? We can see that for the case problem, it will be very good and very giving a lot of benefit to all of the area surrounding it, which is a very focusing on the problems. And we can define what is the recommendation, group recommendation for them. The second, if you are chasing for the publication, you can have a lot of publication from those data. We have a lot of data. If as a researcher, data is equal to gold, right? So we have a lot of gold in there, treasures. So this is why mixed methodology is now people can apply for that. And the most important is can be answered specifically to all of the problems. That is why mixed methodology is very important to implement it or apply it in your research. Okay, this is probably recommendation and etc. I will skip it to you since my time is already finished. Okay, thank you so much for your attention, and I will give back to Mrs. Diah Titis Kusumawardani. Thank you. Refer to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Diah Dewanti. We always call her Didi, Dr. Didi, for your insight. If we make a highlight from the first presentation and the second presentation for both presenters, it is clear that there is the similar, point here, whether in banking, we also have like early warning system, the prevention and mitigations, as well as in research of Bu Didi's research related to environment, the disaster management. There will be also early warning system. Here, she pointed out on the mitigation and effort to avoid the bigger economic loss. Okay, then let's move to the third presenter, Dr. Enda Sabtutiningsih. Without any further delay, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Titis. Yeah, I'm sorry because there is trouble with my microphone, and now I will present about my research, my publication. I will share. Okay. Can you see? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Good, Dr. Enda.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Today we will discuss about our publication related to the climate change adaptation. I have two publications of the climate change impact on agriculture and fisheries. But one of my publication have published in Scopus Journal, Land Use Policy. You can open the link. Here is the link. Yeah. The social capital matter in climate change adaptation, lesson from agricultural sector in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Yeah, you can open the link and you can cite maybe, or you can read if you want to make the research related to the climate change impact. I'm focused on social capital in this adaptation of climate change, and we use the object of agricultural sector in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. And then why we talk about climate change. As you know that when we have the course in the NREE, that climate change is indicated by extreme weather and have many impacts on the human being. There is a extreme weather, unpredictable temperature, and then fluctuating rainfall, and so on. And the impact of the climate change can reduce the overall agroeconomic performance. Some previous studies have conducted about that. And in Indonesia, climate change causes water shortage, lower soil moisture, and decreases soil fertility, and increases evaporation and precipitation. And we know that paddy production in Indonesia was reduced until 25% because of climate change in 2014. And many problem of the maybe city or area in Indonesia because of the climate change, like flood, and then drought, and maybe especially in agriculture sector, like pest attack. Yeah. And this is the area of our research. This is a special region of Yogyakarta, Indonesia. In Yogyakarta, many problems because of the climate change, and we can see in the map that the farm in Yogyakarta highly affected by climate change that make damage agricultural land, and mostly because of pest attack. Yeah, pest attack, especially in Kulon Progo Regency. This is the one of our research result that we publish in journal. And some previous studies focus on the contribution of social capital in related to the natural or environment, like Gong et al. In China. He found that social capital is important to determine the success or failure of forest management. And Adhikari, like social capital have positive about the social capital in natural resources management, and Polizu about social capital determining the willingness to pay for water quality improvement increase. And our study will fill the knowledge gap, because the study focusing on impacts of social capital on farmer is still inconclusively. So we try to examine farmer participation in process of climate change adaptation. This is the material and methods. Our study site is in Kulon Progo that was severely impacted by climate change. There is a reduce of paddy production, and then maybe it will impact on the economy of the society, in especially in Kulon Progo Regency. And then about the survey design and administration, we use the survey questionnaire for about 250 respondents, and we have 7 sections of questionnaire. Section A, we maps out farmer social demographic, and then section B about farmer asset, section C about social capital, and section D about farmers' risk perception and adaptation strategies, and section E about farmland characteristic, F about climate change, farmers' willingness to pay. And the data analysis, we use logistic regression, because the dependent variable, we use dummy variable. One, if respondent willing to pay, and 0, this logistic regression will identify the correlation between social capital and farmers' willingness to pay to participate in climate variable.
Okay, hello, Gwenda. You there? Salam. I think I lost the contact with Dr. Indah. Okay, shall we move to the last presenter, the 4th presenter, Dr. Romi Bhakti Hartarto. Dr. Romi?
Hi,
Are you copy?
Dr. Hi, Dr. Tia. I think Brenda is still
Hello?
there.
Oh, still here.
Hello?
I
Okay,
think it's
hello.
going
Yeah.
to be
Doctor.
wiser if
Yeah.
Dr. Enda finish her presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it will
I'm
be very
sorry.
nice.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, Dr. Enda, will
Okay.
be
Sorry.
finish your presentation. Okay. Maybe it's
Okay.
about technical problem. Okay, Bu Enda, please carry on. Dr. Enda.
Okay. I will continue. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Clear, Bu Enda. Your voice
Okay,
is
okay.
clear. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I will continue about the explanatory variable. We have dependent variable is support for climate change adaptation. We have focus group discussion, and we found that average willingness to pay to adapting climate change is about 1.88 USD. And about the social demographic characteristic, there is age, gender, and number of family, literacy of the household head. And asset characteristic include total farm size and farm ownership or land tenure and farm distance from house. And social capital characteristic is are trust in people, household participation in community, and number of relatives outside the village. And about adaptation characteristic,
Dr.
we have,
Enda,
yeah.
I lost
Yeah.
your share screen. Maybe you can repeat to do the share
Okay,
screen.
sorry. Okay. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Bu. Okay, carry on, Bu. Doctor.
Oops. Okay. And about climate change indicator, we have average annual rainfall and average annual temperature. This is the result and discussion. We have 70% of respondents were willing to pay a lump sum of money to assist climate change adaptation, and 30% of respondents willing not to pay. And about the regression result, we know that the socio-demographic characteristic like age and family number and literacy, and about asset characteristic like total farm size, and then the social capital characteristic like trust in people, community participation, and number of relatives outside the village. And about the adaptation strategy and perception also influence the willingness to pay for adapting the climate change. And then the indicator of the climate change like average annual temperature influence to the willingness to pay for adapting the climate change. So we know that this study confirms that social capital could be an alternative approach in environmental. The successful of the environmental management program is higher if they are implemented based on the interest of the communities, especially social capital. And this social capital approach is useful in supporting environmental management program, including the climate change adaptation. And the second paper, I have the manuscript of the climate change adaptation, but in case of fishery, yeah. But I haven't published yet. I will improve first. And why we interested in this research, because climate change doesn't have effects just in agriculture, but fisheries too. And the fisheries are important economic activities and have a major source of jobs and household income, especially in Indonesia, that Indonesia have many islands. And in the rural areas, this sector have the important contribution for the society. And climate change can reduce the total productive capacity in South and Southeast Asia if the average temperature increase around 2 degrees Celsius. Yeah, this is some previous studies about the impact of climate change in fisheries, and this is some literature about the adaptation in fisheries and the contribution of social capital to adaptation behavior for climate change. Yeah, and although social capital has widely studied, its role to climate change mitigation among fishermen is yet to be sought after. So this study aims to fill this knowledge gap, and especially in fishermen in Lamongan, Indonesia, they have many impacts of the climate change. So the productivity of the fishermen have reduced. And this is the study site, Lamongan Regency of East Java, and this region supplies about 20.29% of fish produced in East Java. And Lamongan has suffered from decrease in fish catches because of the climate change, and the amount of catches declined about from 80 ton to the 73 tons in 2016. And this is the method. The study site in Lamongan, and then why Lamongan I have explained in the previous. And this is the survey design. We have we use the contingent population survey, and we use a payment vehicle of environmental tax referendum, and our survey asks if Indonesian government poses X amount of experimental tax to implement climate change adaptation, would you agree or disagree? Its bid range from 15,000 until 350,000 rupiah. And the data analysis, we use the contingent valuation model, and this is the OLS regression, and willingness to pay is the dependent variable. And what is the independent variable? The independent variable consists of social demographic, social capital, and climate change characteristic. And this is the variables of the explanatory variable. Social demographic is age, a number of family, literacy, and asset is a household asset. Location characteristic, distance to sea from house, distance to city from home, and social capital insists of trust in people, household participation and community, and number of relatives outside. And this is the climate change characteristic. And about the percentage who have willing to pay a lump sum of money, this is 57.75% willing to pay from 15 until 35,000, and this is the amount of respondent that are willing to pay 35 until 100,000. It's about 18.5%, and the rest willing to pay more than 350. And this is the regression result. We conclude then that social demographic variable like age, average number of family, and then distance about the location, distance to sea from house, and about the social capital like trust in people, household participation in community, And then climate change indicator like frequency of high sea waves per week, and then decrease in fish catch influence to willingness to pay for adapting the climate change for the fishermen. And this result imply that the potential that improving social capital might be an effective policy implication. Yeah, and then our study result highlight that fishermen's support for adapting becomes stronger when they have better social capital. So we can use the social capital approach for improving the strategy for adapting the climate change. And in this manner, our study finding emphasizes that the potential social capital individual to capture fisheries. And then we know that policy implication that social capital can be an effective approach to improving the national action plan and adaptation to climate change. I think that's all. Thank you, Bu Titis. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Endah Saputiningsih. It's very interesting. So you talk about the social capital and climate change, and here is how people adapt. So it's adaptation. So for the first keyword, we have prevention, mitigation, yeah, early warning system, and here adaptations. Yeah. So this is very interesting, and we hope that we'll give the new insight about research, and from the first speaker, Dr. Dimas, in terms of Islamic banking, in terms of banking and finance, and then the second speaker, Dr. Diah Dewanti, in terms of environmental, the disaster management, and the third speaker, Dr. Endah, related to the climate change, the people adaptations, and also social capital. Okay, let's move to the fourth speaker. Yeah, a very young speaker. Without any further delay, please welcome Dr. Romi Bhakti Hartato. The time is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Dia. In this occasion, I would like to share my joint research with my colleague. This research has not been published anywhere, but it is still under review. Hopefully, it will be published soon. And our research title is Does Conditional Cash Transfer Change Educational Aspirations? Evidence from Indonesia. All right, so these are the highlights of our study. Basically, our study assessed the impact of the conditional cash transfer or CCT program on education aspirations. Our study finds that CCT program has increased education aspirations by 0.9 to 0.5 to 0.9 schooling years in Indonesia. The results of this study provide policy viewpoint that the CCT program could influence behavioral outcome through change in aspiration. All right. Basically, human capital is considered as the most effective way to alleviate poverty. However, poor households often underinvest in human capital. This might be due to their low educational aspirations. And there are at least 3 mechanisms of low educational aspirations among the poor. So the first one is that the poor often experience psychological distress and pessimistic expectations. The second one is that there is a potential misinformation about returns to education. And the third one is an exposure among the poor to disadvantaged environment. For example, like there are few appropriate role models for the poor. And previous studies reveal positive association between parents' educational aspiration and children's educational outcomes, and the labor supply as well. And due to this positive link between parents' educational aspiration and children's labor supply, then it is important to help the poor to elevate aspiration, since this may lead to a positive impact on poverty elevation. And conditional cash transfer or CCT program came as an important instrument to improve human capital in poor households. There is extensive evidence that CCT programs have changed behavior through higher attendance and school enrollment. So it has a positive impact on educational matter. However, little is known whether this positive behavior comes from change in aspirations. Therefore, this study examines whether CCT program has effect on educational aspirations of poor parents for their children. Apparently, there are very few studies that are most closely related, and those studies focus more on Latin America, with no empirical evidence in Asia. Okay, now we are going to explain what is the Family Hope Program. Okay, Family Hope Program is the first Indonesian conditional cash transfer program in 2007. If you're not really familiar with the program, it is program Keluarga Harapan. And this program is targeted to poor households, aiming to improve human capital quality. The program provides financial support so long as the conditions are met. And what are the conditions? For example, households with school-age children are required to send their children to an appropriate level of schooling, which is junior high school, and ensure their attendance with minimum 85% in a month. And there is a monitoring process by the program facilitators to enforce that the beneficiaries of the program comply with the conditions so that the cash transfer can be continued. And here is the related literature regarding CCT program in Indonesia. Compared to several countries in the Latin America, transfer effectiveness ratio of Indonesian CCT program to increase school children's participation is among the highest. So it means that the program can be said that it is successfully increased school children's participation. Furthermore, the CCT program in Indonesia also has positive impact on academic performance of the children in both primary and junior secondary level. And after 6 years of implementation, like the program has successfully increased net enrollment rate and gross participation rate for both primary school students and junior secondary students. The program even has eliminated 53% of non-enrollment, with the strongest impact on children aged 15 to 17 at the time of follow-up, or who were aged 9 to 11 at the beginning of the program. So it seems like the program has been successful in increasing net enrollment rate, gross participation rate, academic performance of the children, and even eliminating non-enrollment children at school. But however, none of the above studies do not address whether the Family Hope program influences educational aspirations of its recipients. So here we are trying to find out the mechanism behind the success of the program increase in education outcome, whether it comes from a change in education aspiration of the parent as the main beneficiaries of the program. And we are using Indonesian Family Life Survey or IFLS in 2007 and 2014. So basically, our sample includes households living in 13 out of 27 provinces in 1993 and represents 83% of Indonesia's population. And we focus on treated households, like those who are reported in the IFLS 2014 to receive CCT program. The outcome variable in our study is the educational aspiration of the parents for the children. And how do we measure educational aspiration? So this is based on the questionnaire in the IFLS. Like the parents were asked to state their education aspirations for all children aged 7 to 24 years living in the same household. And the question in the survey is, what his or her highest education level do you expect? And what his or her highest class level do you expect? So those who answer the question are the parents, and the subject here are their children. And since our analysis at the household level, like we use the maximum years of education that the respondent has declared for any children. So if there are 3 children in the households, then the one that is included in the data is the one with the highest education aspiration recorded by the parents. And here we only consider sample with complete response for those questions in both IFLS 2007 and 2014. And it results, and it brings us to our final sample in as much of around 3,300 households, while only less than 150 households, or 4.5%, reported to be CCT recipients. And again, our study aims to determine changes in educational aspirations that can be attributed to the Family Hope program. And program participation in the CCT is not random, so it is based on eligibility criteria of the households and various indicators in Proximans test to identify poor households. Thus, any observed and unobserved factors determining program participation potentially cause bias in our estimation. And how do we account for potential bias? We use propensity score matching, or PSM, to account for potential bias because of observable factors by balancing the observed characteristics between participant and non-participant groups. So basically, the propensity score matching constructs a comparison group of non-participants with statistically similar observable characteristics on average to those of program participants. And we estimate a Probit model to calculate the propensity of program participation in 2014 based on pre-program characteristics in 2007 to ensure heterogeneity. And the estimated propensity score is then used to determine the match between beneficiary and non-beneficiary households. And there are several matching techniques to be implemented here to match the propensity score, namely nearest neighbor, caliper radius, and kernel. And we generate scatter plot of the standardized bias against variance ratio of residuals to compare covariate imbalance before and after matching. Afterwards, we use difference in difference strategy to take into account any time invariant unobservable factors that potentially bias our estimates. So we use PSM to account for potential bias in observable factors and then we continued using DID to account for time invariant unobservable factors. And the combination of PSM and DID here can sweep out time invariant component of unobserved characteristics. However, selection bias here is not fully eliminated in our analysis. Therefore, we calculate the Rosenbaum bounds for the treatment effects to assess this bias, whether the bias is significant enough. Okay, and these are the summary statistics of our variable. So these are the summary statistics of variables in pre-treatment period, which is at year 2007. It seems like in general, our sample has junior secondary school educational level for the household head. And in general, there are around 2 children in the household with 6 household members on average, 3 children, and 95% households are headed by male, and 90% of the households are married couple, and the average age of household head is 42. And with the dependency ratio between adult population in working age and other than adult population is 0.87, and 78% household owns their home, 73% household has their wall built by brick, and only 35% households using firewood cooking fuel. Half of the sample living in urban area, while 55% of the sample living in Java. And the educational aspirations for all sample are 13 years on average, or enrolling at first year in the college degree. While the educational aspirations for CCT recipients are relatively lower, which is only less than 12 years of schooling level. It means that statistically, the educational aspiration of CCT recipients are relatively lower than the full sample. Okay, and these are the results of our propensity score estimation using Probit model. It seems like lower household head with lower education, fewer household size, fewer household size, older household head, lower dependency ratio, not having wall built by brick, living in rural area, living outside the Java, are more likely to be selected as the CCT program recipients. Okay, and these are the covariate distribution by matching techniques. So since we aim to find the match control group with similar observable characteristics compared to the treated group, then we can say that both the treated and match control groups are statistically similar in terms of observable characteristics throughout all matching techniques we employ here. So it means like they are comparable. Both treated and match control group. And this is the impact on educational aspirations. So after using PSM and DID, it can be seen that the CCT has increased parental aspirations for their children by 0.5 to 0.9 years of schooling. And this magnitude is comparable with similar program in Mexico, which is Progresa. So in Mexico, there is an increase in education aspirations by 0.3 to 0.5 schooling years. So our finding here seems to be higher in terms of the magnitude compared to Mexico. And this indicates a good sign for policy viewpoint because the CCT program can successfully change the mindset of the recipients regarding their aspirations for their children's education. And this might explain the result in previous research that the program has successfully improved children's schooling outcomes. However, furthermore, I use Wilcoxon's sign rank test to calculate Rosenbaum bonds for checking the potential influence of time varying component of the unobserved characteristics. So our PSM and DID are only able to eliminate observable, may eliminate potential bias due to observable characteristics and time invariant unobservable characteristic. However, PSM and DID cannot fully eliminate time potential bias due to time varying component of the unobserved characteristics. And our estimate tolerance bounds in the probability of program participation is fairly low, which is between 1.1 and 1.3. It implies that two households that look similar in observable characteristics may differ in their odds of receiving treatment by a factor of 1.1 to 1.3. And since this is relatively a small value, our results here are still potentially sensitive to hidden bias, so this should be cautiously interpreted. And this is what we can conclude in our study. Living in poverty causes the poor to have limited aspiration, and this may lead to underinvestment in children's education. And CCT and Family Help Program disperse cash handouts to poor households conditional on behavioral change in health and education. And the program has achieved higher school enrollment and attendance in the previous research, while there is no evidence so far about the impact on educational aspirations. And our study here shows that the beneficiary households of the Family Help Program have higher educational aspiration for their children up to one schooling year. Nonetheless, this result doesn't allow us to identify the driving force behind the change in educational aspirations, whether it is because of the program design. Future research in this area, particularly in the impact evaluation study of Family Help Program, should address this issue. So I guess that's all from me. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Pak Dr. Romi Bakti Hartarto, for the presentation. So, okay, to make it short, yeah. So let's move to the Q&A session. So because time limitation, we only have like 10 minutes for the participation, yeah. To raise, yeah, please raise your hand to raise some questions, comment, or express your idea. So you could ask to the presenter directly, or maybe you can write your question in the chat box. Please do. Ladies and gentlemen, brother and sister, participants. Okay, maybe I will, yeah, motivate our participant to ask some questions. So start from Dr. Dimas. So Dr. Dimas, yeah, about early warning system. So how you choose this topic yeah, to become your topic of your research, is that early warning system is very important or special in the banking system in Indonesia, Dr. Dimas?
Yeah, the answer is because right now the financial crisis have very frequent happens in the existing financial system. So our policy makers tries to mitigate the impacts if the financial crisis happens or prevents the um, uh, the, the the potential crisis in the financial system itself. So our task here is to minimize the loss or prevent the loss happens, so that the study of EWS is very pertinent and very important, so that we expect that the loss from the crisis that might happens become reduced because we prevent the future the future crisis, or we mitigate if the crisis happens in the current system. But it is so we develop the threshold here. Hopefully, this threshold can be the reference for the policymakers how they must intervene or go into the interventions in the context of the current dynamic of the financial system. That's what it is. My short answer.
Okay, Dr. Dimas, thank you very much. So we have a lot of participants here. So maybe from Malaysia, yeah, participant from Malaysia. Yeah, it's nice to hear your expression, your questions. Yasmin Razak, sister.
Hello.
Yes, hello, Yasmin.
I do
Yes,
not
sister,
have any.
please.
Hello. I do not have any question, but
Yes.
Thanks a lot for a good presentation and insightful explanation for all the presenters before. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Sister Yasmin, for your comment. Okay, from UUM, maybe the representative from UUM, Durga Devi, Retina Sami. Please,
Good
sister.
morning. Good morning,
Yes.
madam.
Good morning.
I also don't have question, madam, but I want to express my feelings. I feel so happy as all topics are interesting and the presentation is very good from all of the presenters. That's all, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Durga Devi. Okay, from our student, maybe Diah Erli could become as a representative or our student to pose the question to all of the speaker. Diah Erli. So here we have a lot of participants from several countries, from ASEAN, Asia, yeah, some university representative. We have Yusim here, Nur Nadiah Bayani. Sister, how are you, sister? Hello. Okay, not yet, yeah. And also from UPM, student from UPM, Sriha. So maybe, you know, I feel that some of the research that presented by our speaker, yeah, is very outstanding, and maybe it's very high level discussion, is that? So here the student actually is want to pose the question, and maybe they're still like hesitate, yeah, to ask deeply about the research. Yeah, but I think this is very good. So the research of all of the outstanding speaker become the idea, insight, yeah, for the future research, yeah, especially for the participant here, yeah, ITIL's participants. Any question or comment from other participants? Ratnasari?
Yes, madam.
Yes, Sister Ratnasari. Yeah, please maybe express your idea, comment, yeah, related to the presentations for all presenters.
Actually, I'm also don't have any question because the all explanation are very clear. But like what the other participant says, that the explanation today are very useful for us and it's very clear for us. Just it, madam.
Okay, thank you, sister. Very good. So we have here questions from Nabil Aziz. Assalamualaikum. My name is Nabil Aziz from University of Malaya. And I have a question. Like Malaysia, they have the Plan Pemulihan Negara for post-COVID pandemic. Yeah. So how Indonesia are expecting in general to anticipate economic growth after pandemic? Maybe I will ask like 5 minutes for each speaker to answer this question. The question from Nabil Aziz from UM. Okay, start from Dr. Dimas. Dr. Dimas, please. The time is yours.
Okay.
From banking and finance, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'm just focused on this issue with the COVID-19 pandemic. Maybe in the policy point of view, the government should create or develop a models whereby the economics and health can go hand in hand. It means that there's no contradiction or trade-off in the promoting growth and also promoting health. So now I think the government should share his policy arguments, how to develop the particular policy that the health and economics can go hand in hand. So there is no one left behind, because this is the challenges that every country is facing right now, so that these both sectors can run together. Because somehow right now, if you look at the economic and health, there seems to be in the contradictions. So in my humble suggestion right now is, including myself also right now, is try to develop the formula or models so that these models can be referred by the government, so that the future developments and growth of the economy is maintained, and then in the same time the health of the society is maintained as well. So I think this one, but it is my general overview of the pandemic and the future maybe challenges and the policies.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dimas, for the answer. Okay, let's move to the second speaker. Okay, Dr. Diah Dewanti. Dr. Diah. So the question of Nabil Aziz from UM. Like Malaysia,
Okay,
they have the
I'm really sorry that
Pemulihan
I
Negara.
have to turn off my camera.
Okay.
I think my network bandwidth is really low, so to handling the Wi-Fi, hopefully I can manage it, but I have to turn off my camera. So in my opinion, for the Indonesia, how to anticipate economic growth after pandemic, it have to be integrated between the health and also the economic, especially for the micro scale enterprises. In Indonesia, that we found the affordability to pay for all the people is decreasing because of the inflation and all of the impact of the COVID-19. So how to anticipate it? Have to be integrated between the health sectors. So again, it's transdisciplinary problem. Have to be integrated with transdisciplinary, with the health, with the social responsibility, and then the including the religions, that also the culture that we had, because we are facing the public enemy as the COVID-19. We need to change that. We need to adopt, change, and make the resilience in each of the individual and including the household. As in Indonesia, we found that government already spread the vaccinations, or as a lot of they already distributed in a large scale. So those are becoming the most important program right now for Indonesia. So that is why the government also enlarged the vaccination distribution to all of the islands, because the geographical Indonesia faced the geographical impact, especially we have a lot of islands, we have a lot of population which is spread in all of those islands. So vaccination as the first, and then after the vaccination, distribute the impact of the COVID-19, the health, and the immune of the individual can be stronger, and it will be improved. For example, now the tourism, it's becoming weak because of the problem of the COVID-19. And as you know, Indonesia, the third of the sectors, the largest sectors, the second or the third largest of the revenue came from the tourist. So it's have to be, vaccination is the main priorities for the government. And now on, government also trying to improve but strengthen the small and micro enterprises to strengthen their capacities, so they can prepare for after the distribution of the vaccine increase, after all the immune of the population, the Indonesian population already increased, so they can open the tourism sector, which is as the second or the third largest sector revenue in Indonesia. So I think based on the Nabil Aziz questions, I would like to see in the tourism sectors, we need to improve our immune and health integration with all the adaptations, health, like the sanitation adaptation of the health protocols. So that is why Indonesia now distributed a lot of the vaccines to all of the populations. I think that's all. Hopefully I can answer, and we still have two speakers can answer the question. Yes. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Diah Setiawati Dewanti. So for the third speaker, Dr. Endah, what about from climate change issue regarding how to anticipate the economic growth after pandemic? Dr. Endah?
Okay, thank you.
The time is yours.
Clear?
1 minute.
Clear?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I will focus on the role of the social capital to
yes.
to mitigate the virus pandemic. how we have the social behavior, how the people will care each other. If one, maybe the neighbor have to isolate, yeah. So we have neighborly care, and how we trust to the government to spread this vaccine, and how we trust to government to mitigate the impact of the pandemic is the important role that we have to focus that. And then the impact of the work from home for the environment, we have aware that the many negative impacts that we have, solid waste or medical waste, because of we work from home, and we have to care how to manage the waste, and we have to think how the sustainable development have to be achieved, even pandemic, yeah. So people have to aware to manage the waste, and have to trust the government, have to care each other. This is the important thing that we have to have when we face the pandemic. Okay, thank you, Bu Titis.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Enda. So for the first speaker, Dr. Romi, from the inside of educations, labor economics, how to answer the Nabil question related to anticipating economic growth after pandemic.
Thank you for
Dr.
the
Romi.
Okay, thank you for the question, Nabil. If we talk about economic growth, that it is inseparable from consumption and investment, and how to enhance economic growth, especially post-pandemic, post-COVID pandemic, the government has taken several steps to stimulate consumption and investment. In order to stimulate consumption, the government has made the disbursement of cash transfer more frequently. Like it is used to be once in 3 months, and then the government has made it monthly to the poor that is greatly affected by the pandemic. So other than disbursement of cash transfer that become more frequently, the government has dispersed food voucher and rice for the poor. But again, the problem is about monitoring, since Indonesia has a multi-level of governments, and the geographical region that is too wide. And to stimulate the investment, that the government has provided tax incentive for the firm. Like, I think that's all. Hope it is answering your question.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Romi. So, ladies and gentlemen, brother and sister, all participants, we already have heard, the insight from all outstanding speakers today, started from banking and finance, research methodology, environment economics, and labor economics. So I would love to ask all speakers to give closing statement before we end up this session. Okay, start from Dr. Dimas. The time is yours.
For what, Bu Titis?
Closing statement, Pak. Closing statement.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, thank you, Bu Titis and participants. I guess that you here has already got some information about the banking, finance, and other materials. Yeah, and during the programs, I do also believe that you have got some information, knowledge, and experience regarding with the banking and finance issue from the conventional Islamic perspective. So my humble suggestion into the future is that please utilize this informations and experience that you got from these programs to be promoted to the other step of your career or academic matter. Maybe you can use this information to develop your research area, and you dig more into your maybe more intensive reading and also intensive research, so that our discussion today will be more powerful and give you motivation much on the issue on banking and finance from Islamic or conventional perspective. I think that from me, Dr. Dia.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Dimas. Dr. Dias Dewanti, the time is yours.
Okay, I would like to send my gratitude, acknowledgement to all of the participants who are attend and also participate in this ITILs. But would like to remind you that we, as a trainers, we share our knowledge, our information, and share our experiences as one of the aim or objective, which is trying to invite you to have the research capacities to apply the research and then publish more and more your research to share the knowledge to all of people. And this might be for of the subject, it's not enough for you to gather all of the information, but however, I know that this 4 of the subject will be useful for you to help the community surrounding you, to support an environment to be sustainable, and also to implement the sufficiency economy, as in Islam also teach how we do the sufficiency economy, and also how to share our knowledge as your Amal Syariah after this. So hopefully these materials, this training, not only for you, but you have the obligatory to share to the communities, to give them the benefit and to give them supported from your side. Okay, thank you. Back over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dia. Okay, Dr. Endah Sabtutiningsih, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Bu Titis. Ya, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
I would like to say thank you for all participants, for the committee of the ITILs, and I hope the participant of NREE will be satisfied with the material and the lecturers. And I just want to say that you can learn many knowledge anywhere, everywhere, not just in the course, not just in the school or in the campus, but you can learn from anywhere. And I hope you can use your knowledge for conduct the research and publish them, like Bu Didi said, that publish more and more for improving your knowledge, and look for more networking. Yeah, we can improve our knowledge by spread our network. So keep in touch with us. Don't go away. And maybe if pandemic disappear, you can go to Jogja, yeah, in UMY. Okay, thank you for all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Okay, please, Dr. Rami Bakti Hartarto, to give your closing statement, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr. Titis. Thank you, Dr. Titis. Not much to say, but thank you very much for your participation. We really appreciate it, and we hope you enjoy our event and get benefit of it. And see you in our upcoming event.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rami. Last but not least, this international training was a team effort, and I would like to note my gratitude and appreciation for the high commitments and hard work demonstrated by all parties in making this international training very successful. For all participants for their contributions, thank you very much. I hope not only that all participants will find this international training interesting and informative, but at the same time, they will have the opportunity to engage with other participants for future research development and collaboration. Thank you and looking forward to see you in the future. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Dr. Dimas, Dr. Didi, Dr. Endah, and Dr. Romi, all participants. Thank you very much. Okay, back to the MC.
Okay, thank you so much to Dr. Dia Titis Kusumawardani for a very great moderator, and also thank you so much for the 4 great speakers. Okay, let's move to another agenda. The next agenda is announcement course leader best participants. To course leader of environmental economists is pleased to announce and give the informations.
Okay, for course of natural resource and environmental economics. Okay, who is the best participant? Okay, I just know I know when the course conducting. I see she is active and always camera on. And about the final project is good too. And I selected Yasmin from Malaysia. Congratulations.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, congratulations Yasmin Razak from Malaysia. Let's move to another nominations from to course leader of bank and non-bank is pleased to announce and give the informations.
Okay, thank you, Dinda. Just I want to share my slide to make it just in 5 minutes. Here I'm going to announce the best participant for this course. Yeah, so this course basically is bank and non-bank financial institutions. And during the programs, the students, all of you, okay, sorry. Yeah, so you have already gone through 4 modules. And also every modules you have already learned about the next one. Okay, the next one you have already learned from some invited speakers, 6 lecturers from the BI, OJK, LPS, NKS, and IDB, and also InSafe. And also you have already understood the wage of the activities. We have 6 criteria: attendance, discussion forum, quizzes, test competency, assignments, and video presentations according to the grading system that we have already informed. And according to this one, we have collected all of your marks through my class. And here's the recapitulations a bit about yours for the bank and non-bank institutions. So we have 47 students. The active student, unfortunately, only 35 or 75%. And the number of passive, 12, 25%. And percentage of past students. Past student means that the numbers is the total score is above 60, only 29 students or 70%, and the 9% or 18 students unfortunately fail. And from the student here, if we go through the details, who got A is 16 or 34%, EB 7, B 5, BC 1, C, D, and E, all is 18 students. Therefore, we only will given you the transcript or certificate to 29 students, not 18 students here. And the best participant is Brother Muhammad Nabil Aziz bin Muhammad Safwan. The total score is 90.63% of 100 from University Malaya, Malaysia. Congratulations, Nabil. And the second one is best presenter. The announcement here is based on the material creativity, clearness, durations, and slide appearance, and number of likes. Yeah. And here, having gone through 25 videos that submitted through my class, I do select Sister Fatin Hanani Aziza from University Saint Islam Malaysia. That's all. The student of bank and non-bank financial institutions, thank you very much. I hand over back to Sister Adinda.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dimas, and congratulations for Brother Nabil as the best participant, and congratulations from Sister Fatin as best presenters. Let's move to another winner. To co-leader of research methodology is pleased to announce and give the information.
Okay, I would like to share the research methodology. So wait for a second. Okay. Research methodology, we have 24 participants. However, I only choose one best of the presenters, which came from the attendance and also the exercise, which is shared by the trainers. And there's only 50% who passed the research methodology subject. But in this case, I would like to share that the best participants, since we do not have the final project for the research methodology, the best participants goes to Lutliatul Mutmainah. Congratulations to you. And the score and the score is 87. Okay, for the research methodology, we do not have any final project presentation for each of the participants. So I give back to Adinda. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Dia. And congratulations from Luli Tulmutamina as the best of participant from UIN Sunan Kalijaga. Okay, next, to course leader of Library of Economics is pleased to announce and give the information.
Okay, I think it's back to me again.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, for the Library Economics, Library Economics, we have best participants, only one best participants that they already have the highest score in all the quiz, attendance, and also the active participants who raised some of the questions to the trainers and etc. So we choose based on the accumulation of the score. The best participant is Brother Muhammad Izzat Hakimi bin Abdul Halim. Okay, congratulations to you. But for the best presenters, we have final project presentation. And unfortunately, I cannot choose only one because there are two videos that they already have a lot of likes also in the YouTube. And also they They also obey all the rules of the individual project. And it also interesting of the theme or interesting of the project that they have. The best presenter is two persons, Azri Esaidi bin Rohaidi and Nurul Adibah binti Rahat. So congratulations to all of you. Okay, thank you. Back to you, MC, Mbak Adinda.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so once again, congratulations from the best.
I'm sorry, Adinda.
Yes.
Yeah, I missed the best presenter in NREE. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure, ma'am.
Yeah. For the best presenter, maybe from the video final project, the best is Yalisa. I don't know what maybe from Malaysia, yeah. Yalisa. Yalisa here.
Yalisa is from UUM. Sister
UUM. Okay. Thank you, Adinda.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations from Yalisa from UUM. And for the best participant from Library Economics, congratulations for Muhammad Izzat Hakrimi, best presenter for Azri and Nurul. Okay, congratulations for all the winners as the best participant in this event. Okay, let's move to the next event is testimony from representative of each course. To the representative of environmental economics, the time is yours.
Hi everyone. Sorry, I cannot open the camera because my line is low. But I want to share my testimony. This program is very beneficial for all students who participate, as it can help people fill in the semester break with beneficial activities. I think this is very best platform for students as they can gain knowledge on the course chosen. For me, I think I will join again if had like these courses in future. And then the instructor of the course is very supporting and helpful instructor. I really love this course. Thank you. That's all from me.
Okay, thank you so much for the representative from environmental economics. So to the representative of bank and non-bank, the time is yours.
Hi, can anyone hear? Yes. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And hi, my name is Muhammad Nabil Aziz, a delegation from University Malaya, majoring in Bachelor of Sharia and Law. So I will share a bit about how do I get to know this program. So I get to know this program shortly during my final semester and final exam from the International Student Center, University of Malaya. So they share this info and I was like, oh, it's very interesting because majoring in law, I will not get the chance to learn about financial institution in general. So I think that this is a chance that I cannot let go because, and another reason is I think that I can cope because it is during my semester break. So I thought to myself, why not spend some time just for, something that can benefit you in the future. So Alhamdulillah, Dr. Dimas was very helpful. He made the course very flexible. And despite there are few things that I might not be able to understand at the very beginning because I'm not an economic student. I do not know what is monetary policy. I do not know what is macroprudential policy. So I had to ask my course, the NBF friends for the information. But I think it's, it takes courage to learn something new. I also love how Doctor invited supposedly 7, but we only got 6 guest lecture from different field. As example, Dr. Arliana from Bank Indonesia and many more. So they give us insight of Bank Indonesia, Lembaga Penjamin Simpanan, Otoritas Jasa Kewangan, and many more. So during the presentation, I think that I can learn more about the insight of Indonesia financial system, and it opened up my eyes so I can compare it with my own country, Malaysia financial system. So for the past 4 weeks, we had been exposed to numerous tests, quizzes, summary guest lecture, and discussion forum, and also paperwork. I can see that Dr. Dimas was trying to get us work together, as he did not pair us with only Malaysian, but Malaysian with another country for majority of the group. So Dr. trying to get us to work between two nations so we can get insight as we preparing our paperwork. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brother Nabil. Let's move to another representative. So, to the representative of research methodology, the time is yours.
Thank you very much, Adinda. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, hello everyone. Great to meet you all. My name is Luliatul Mutmainah. You can call me Lily. Actually, I came from University Indonesia, but now I'm teaching in UIN Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta. I have been going to meetings, conferences, and courses both online and offline for several years. It's both my pleasure and honor to have chance become one of participants here in 4th ITU, especially for RMA course with the great lecturers. I was instantly interested, learning something new, useful, and inspiring from this course. The speakers and lecturers are insightful and patient to teach us step by step because some new methods in doing research like Atlas, CI, and Stata, they are new for me, particularly. We also receive more useful tips about research management, analysis, how to do interview, and research tools. Actually, I also have been participating in second ITU offline in 2019. It has hosted by UMY and Triple IT. And in 2019 also I participated in Triple IT course in IIUM Malaysia, but this is my first time to join online course that have specific part courses such as research methods, and at the same time we can also join other guest lecturers from another of courses like from Dr. Dimas for banking and finance. It's so grateful, and because the participants also come from so many countries, and we can enlarge our network, and also maybe we can do some collaboration research after this course, and hopefully the next ITOs can be managed through offline, so we can go to Yogyakarta and it's be better. And maybe for this course, particularly the committee maybe give the group assignment so that the participants can get to know each other well during the course period. That's all my thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much, Sister Liatul. Okay, so let's move to the last representative. So to the representative of Library of Academics, the time is yours.
Hi everyone. I'm sorry before I used a handphone and couldn't use the background because there is a problem with the network. I'm Dia from Indonesia and I'm studying at the University of Muhammadiyah, Yogyakarta. I will present my friends from the Library Economics course or LBC to give the testimony during this summer course. After I'm joining the Library Economics course and these skills also, I feel very interesting and memorable. Inshallah, the material is also useful for people, especially after graduation, of course. And I also really respect because the lecturers are friendly, they are treated well, and it's fit to have a good discussion. And the lecturers are very professional. The delivery is clear. The materials are easy to catch. And the lecturers are also very helpful. If you have a question, they will definitely have a solution. And also the class is so fun and so enjoyable that we still get to know. And so we share ideas. Hopefully it will be of high quality and also provide a lot of benefits and hopefully in the future it can be better. Even though so far it has been amazing. And last, hopefully this COVID-19 will end soon, and so that I feel I can hold my class again. And because I think it will be more fun to meet it in person, and so we can stay in touch with each other. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sister Fadia. Alhamdulillah that we are at the end of the IT Yields 2021. There are many benefits and knowledge that we can get from this event, starting from great speaker and full of motivations for all of us. Now we are at the end of the event, which means the closing ceremony of IT Yields 2021. Let's close this agenda by saying Alhamdulillah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. And finally, I apologize if during this event I have many mistakes when I become a master of ceremony. And lastly, Adinda Salsabila, goodbye and see you at the next event. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Terima kasih semua.
Thank you everyone.
Terima kasih.
Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is one of the best private universities in Indonesia. As an excellent and Islamic university, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta offers a 3-year degree undergraduate, graduate, and professional programs, which prepares the graduates for being able to meet national and international labor market demand through one of the provided faculties, Faculty of Economics. The world's rapid economic growth insists educational institutions to foster and make changes to embody a better educational system and to confront global challenges in economic and business realms.
Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is an excellent faculty to produce globally competitive economists, entrepreneur, manager, and accountant who are creative, innovative, and professional based on Islamic values.
Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta encompassed undergraduate programs, namely Department of Management, Department of Accounting, Department of Economics, International Management and Business, International Program of Accounting, and International Program for Islamic Economics and Finance, as well as graduate program, which is Master of Management. The teaching system at Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta is supported by capable teaching staff of economic and business fields. The teaching staff comprise expert academicians and practitioners. Students of the Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta may communicate with the teaching staff both inside and outside classroom. Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta provides facilities to boost the learning process at each department. Facilities of Faculty of Economics and Business of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta embrace the following: students